Welcome into episode 7 of Take Your Marks. Today on the program we head to Tauranga and catch up with one of New Zealand's leading coaches, Liz van Welie. She is also a former elite athlete, having competed in swimming at the Olympic Games in 2000, and then in 2002 she won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games. I decided to get Liz on the program because I wanted to talk to her about dealing with nerves. It's something we've all experienced. Some of us handle it okay. Some of us, well, we let it get on top of us, and that can affect performance. So I hope you do enjoy this segment of Take Your Marks.
I always felt nerves were good. I thought that, you know, when there's nerves behind you, there was a little bit more meaning into the races and the events. I guess I really had a big trust in my coach, and my coach, Miss Lang, seemed to always get the taper right. So whenever I was racing at big competitions, whether it's nationals for trials or going to Olympics, World Champs or Pan Pacs or whatever, I always had faith in what the training we'd done. I knew I'd given it everything, so I kind of trusted in the process.
So knowing that you got the training right, that took a little bit of the anxiety out of it.
Yeah, certainly. And always had a race plan. Don't get me wrong, I certainly got nervous, but I was able to control it much better. And certainly when I raced, especially when I was doing butterfly, as soon as you start to muscle something, you tense up and you tend to, you know, the piano comes down on you in the water. So we worked really hard on race tactics during the races, cue words. I used to, when I swam butterfly, I used to say to myself, relax on one stroke and then hips up on the next one. So you kind of had those cue words to stop those things from happening during the race as well.
And did you do a lot of visualising around that?
Yeah, certainly I did visualising, not set times, but I'd certainly visualise. If I was lying in bed, I often thought about my races. But one of the real key things where I used to visualise is a lot when I was training. So if I was in the pool doing a hard set in butterfly or whatever, I would pretend that coming up to the wall, I was racing against the world's best. And so I had to beat them into the wall, beat them off the wall. So that was where a lot of it, that my visualisation came into. And I felt that really helped, that, you know, the pretending that there was someone there that you had to get to the wall before, then that really helped going into a race.
And did you find by racing a lot and going through the process of having to get on the start line, whether it be a national championship, as you progress through the ages, that the more you raced, the more you got on top of the anxiety, the more that you learnt to deal with whatever expectation you had on you or you put on yourself?
I didn't feel like I was a big racer. Like I was never someone that could lift at any time when I raced. I always felt that I had to be really, really tapered well to be able to race. We did a fair bit of racing, and Mr. Lang and I travelled the world doing the World Cup circuit probably for 4 or 5 years in a row around Europe, and we always went in real heavy training. And I actually never ever, I swam well, like I still won medals and won some prize money and stuff doing that, but I never actually swum amazing. So the racing was always good practice, and it kind of complemented the training, but I never felt that I was under huge pressure unless it was at those real big events that had some real meaning behind them.
Yeah, that coach relationship with Duncan, how long did it take for you guys to work out the perfect taper? I mean, some athletes might just simply be taking a day off prior to racing. For others, it's a 2-week taper. How long did it take you to, you know, find that formula for you?
I guess knowing that before me, Mr. Lang had Daniel Loader that won 2 Olympic gold medals and had many, many Olympians before me that had performed and had performed exceptionally well on the international stage. So he was well practiced, and one of his biggest things was, you know, saying to her, he would always say to me, you know, you just do the swimming and let me do the worrying. So I guess I didn't have a massive input into my own taper as such. I trusted that he was the coach. He had the knowledge. He knew what he was doing. I remember the 2 big events where I swam well, which was Sydney 2000 and Manchester Commonwealth Games. Him and I did things differently to the rest of the New Zealand team. And I remember being at a pre-camp with the New Zealand team before the Olympics, and I had done some massive work before. Like, I mean, Mr. Lang was a big, throughout some big sessions at you know, 8.5K, 9K sessions every single time. And I was doing some really big butterfly sets. And I remember going into the camp, and he dropped me right down, and I was in the pool for 45 minutes while some of the guys were still doing 2-hour sessions. And I remember going, God, am I doing enough? You know, is this enough for me? And he kept saying to me, don't worry about it. You know, we've got it. And he was right, you know, and so I just completely trusted him that he got it right. Same with Manchester Commonwealth Games. We went to altitude training. And I remember again coming down from altitude training, and while the rest of the team got to go to Universal Studios, I wasn't able to because I had a training session to do. So I just stuck with it. I trusted him and what he did. And I mean, he was so well experienced, and he was the master. So I just did everything that he told me to do, and it worked.
Yeah, so clearly towards the end of you guys had that relationship, and you had such faith and such belief in him. But did you have some periods in those younger years? I say that you have to sort of learn how to lose before you learn how to win. How did you deal with some of the bad days? Just a message maybe for those youngsters watching this, or those young athletes coming through.
I mean, there are certainly many bad days. It's easy, you know, it's really easy. There's a quote that Don Talbot said, I can't quite remember how it goes, but it's something like, you know, the will to win is prepared, only, you know, brought about by the prepared to will to win, and that takes 10 years of 10 years of dedicated and enthusiastic success to become an overnight success. You know, and like, people look at your success and they go, wow, you're amazing, but they forget about the work that went in behind, and the non-successes, I guess, that you had, the failures that you did have. And I had many, you know. There were times where I thought I was going to make Commonwealth Games, or in 98, or where I missed out on qualifying for Pan Pacs. You know, there was plenty of times like that. There was one year where I even got disqualified. I think it was World Champs I was trying to qualify for, and at Nationals I did a false start. It was when the true false start rule was still in, and I did the first false start, and I got pulled from the race because they deemed that I did a deliberate false start and I was holding up the race, which absolutely, you know, was totally not true. But that's what they deemed, and I just had to grin and bear it. And, you know, I remember my coaches running up to the starter and going, stop the race, you know, this is ridiculous. So I guess for me, I'm a real determined person. In my whole life, I've never let anyone or anything stop me. And if I've really wanted something, I've just gone from it. So sadness, disappointment, failures in sport, I think you've really got to use them and manipulate them to make you better. You have to learn from them. There's no point in dwelling on them. When you make mistakes, you have to go, okay, that was a mistake. What can I learn from it, and how can I move forward? Same with when you have a bad session. Everyone has bad sessions in the pool. If you have a bad session, it's really important to go, okay, cool, that's done. Can't do anything about it. Put things behind me as quick as I could, and then and moving forward and moving on to the next thing. Just keeping my dreams and goals in mind and front.